This podcast deals with Luka Magnotta's horrible relatives and how they are deceitful and exploitive, in my opinion. This will touch on a lot of his past, which is almost completely unknown. The lying media got hardly any of Luka's stories correct, and they skipped over large parts, and now 90% of Luka's life remains untold. Luka Magnotta was born Eric Newman in Scarborough, Canada. His maternal relatives are Russian immigrants. His grandfather fought in the Russian military. His name was Trifon Yorkin. He had a lot of secret wives in Russia, and many children he never revealed. Trifon Yorkin, while in the military, is said to have assassinated 3 people, then fled to Cuba, finally immigrating to Canada, where he met his wife Kathy, who immigrated from the Ukraine. They opened a dance studio and hotel in Manitoba and had 8 children: Christopher, Zita, Pauline, Alexander, Luba, Nadia, and finally Walter and his twin brother, who died at birth, Thomas. Walter is Luka's grandfather, who was an extremely successful engineer in Toronto. Phyllis, Luka's grandmother, raised Luka for practically his entire life. Luka and Phyllis were literally inseparable. Luka's paternal relatives were very wealthy European immigrants. Fred and Barbara were veterans who owned their own pet stores. Every member of Luka's family are homeowners, and they're all very successful. Luka was never close with his mother. He spent his entire life avoiding her. Luka lived with his grandmother Phyllis. Luka was a very spoiled and pampered child and spent his days in the gardens picking roses around the family's property. Anna constantly tried to win Luka back, but never could. Luka was completely isolated from his father's family due to Anna's jealousy. Don Newman was a university-educated, extremely intelligent man who worked alongside his father-in-law in a cosmetics engineering factory. Luka's father was very successful and brought his family a very large home. Anna, Luka's mother, refused to allow her children to ever attend school. Luka, his brother Conrad, and sister Melissa were not allowed to ever leave the family home. Anna was an abusive monster. For some reason, she took all of her anger and sadistic frustration out on the younger brother of Luka. Conrad was severely beaten and locked in a dark closet, tied to a chair most of his childhood. It's all in the court papers and testified under oath by Luka's father. Anna was also a clean fanatic who would wear surgical masks and gloves at all times and terrorizing her husband and children. Luka was the only one to avoid most of the chaos because he was rescued by his grandmother Phyllis. Luka's dad eventually became an alcoholic and separated from Luka's mother. Anna began dating a severely sadistic man named Leo, who was brutally beat and abused all of Anna's children. Luka was sexually molested around the age of 12 and also throughout his childhood by multiple people. Anna and Leo tortured their children. While at school, Luka was always popular, but the boys were very jealous because he always got all the girls. Because of all the severe abuse at home, Luka began having trouble at school, but received good grades and made friends easily. Anna Yorkin, Luka's deranged, attention-seeking, exploitive mother, lied atrociously in her book of lies that she co-authored with an exploitive writer who penned the work of fiction. Anything Anna can do to cause problems or gain attention or money, she will do. She destroyed her family and is one of the most selfish, meddling, two-faced women I've ever heard of. She is the doppelganger for Karla Homolka. Nothing written about Luka Magnotta is accurate, and 90% is blatant lies. Some of Luka's relatives spoke to the media and received fistfuls of cash while being cowards and hiding their true identities. Luka's aunt, by marriage, this woman was married to Anna's brother, but Anna's brother divorced the witch. She is obsessed with Magnotta and can't stop talking about him. Another relative, who is Anna's cousin, she is a wannabe detective who lives with her mother in Scarborough and lies about Luka every chance she gets. Luka's entire maternal side is extremely dysfunctional. Anyone who comes into contact with the Yorkins regrets it. Luka's aunt Andrea Yorkin mysteriously died in 2010 under mysterious circumstances. Andrea is Luka's mom's sister. 2 months later, Luka's uncle died mysteriously. Both Andrea Yorkin and Ed Williams had overdosed, and their homes were burglarized. That same year, 2012, Luka's mother's home was burned down. Luka was blamed for everything but denied it all. Luka became a very successful male model and ballet dancer in Italy. He moved to Toronto and lived in the Leaside Towers, the same condo as Bruce MacArthur, and was Toronto's top expensive male escort. Luka made so much money in Toronto that he was forced to store it all in a Swiss bank account. Luka was always driving the best cars and going to the best restaurants. All his relatives were so jealous and constantly tried to exploit Luka. Luka was very kind and took some of his relatives on lavish vacations, but quickly realized they were all just relatives and not family. There's a big difference from family and from relatives. Blood makes people related. Loyalty makes family. Not one of Luka's relatives was ever loyal to him. They are all users, just like Meghan Markle's demented family. Luka's demented mother constantly tried to locate Luka. He changed his number constantly to avoid her. He and his friends even told Anna that Luka lived in different places just to throw her off and to prevent the scumbag from harassing him. Anna is a rat and a con artist. Luka never, ever, ever had any mental disorder. The entire charade was created by Luka's escort manager. Luka was forced to act along to obtain prescriptions which were sold on the black market. Anna is a hysterical, meddling attention seeker who uses her son to obtain money, according to all my research. She is a disgrace to mothers everywhere and should be ashamed for all the people's lives that she has destroyed. There is nobody Luka despises more than his mother. She can claim all she wants otherwise, but Luka is repulsed by her. Luka took her on a vacation to the Bahamas, but later said that it was one of the worst decisions of his life. Anna constantly overstates her connection to Luka. In 20 years, he's only seen her a handful of times. He loathes this woman. Luka's siblings are even worse. His brother Conrad and Luka have zero relationship. Conrad is a disgrace to the word brother and never made anything of his life. Luka's sister Melissa is a two-faced snake, and Luka detests both of them. As for Luka's half-siblings, he has zero relationship. He never had a relationship with them. He wants no connection or contact with uncles, aunts, cousins, or associates of his relatives. He has disowned them all. Luka hates his grandparents also. His relatives could have testified at the trial via video, but gave every excuse in the book, like the cowards that they are. They even hired lawyers to avoid being called as witnesses. Anna never wanted to answer for her past crimes against Luka. The only relative of Luka's who showed up was his father, Don Newman. But even he had diva-like demands, and was practically forced to be there. Luka's father is 100% stable and fit. His father is a homeowner and a professional boater. Don Newman was misdiagnosed just as Luka was, and they both laugh at people who believe this propaganda. At trial, they were forced to play along with the insanity defense in order to obtain a not criminally responsible verdict. Luka and his father are healthy and 100% stable and extremely intelligent. Luka's dad's wife, Joanne, entered into an affair with Luka when he was only 16. Luka's stepmother was the adult. Luka was the child. When someone is in a difficult situation, it's easy to see who really has their backs. Yes, folks, Luka Magnotta has horrible relatives, so the next time you see or hear any of them, be aware that Luka speaks to none of them. None of his relatives, nor siblings, or his own parents. Don't believe the fake news. Anna is incapable of shutting her big mouth. She causes problem after problem and can't accept the fact that her son has moved on and is happy without her. She will never see or hear from Luka again. In 2016, after years of estrangement, she tried to re-enter Luka's life. She presented the idea of a book, and she explained Netflix was going to do a documentary. Luka reluctantly visited her briefly in the visiting cottage at the prison. But when he discovered just how unstable Anna is, and what a big liar she is, he kicked her out of his life. Anna begged to attend Luka's wedding and began her exploitive, destructive ways, and was banished forever from contacting Luka. Anna is extremely jealous of all the amazing people Luka has in his life. Luka has amazing friends who are loyal and fiercely protective. Any opportunity Luka's relatives get to exploit him, they take it. Luka is repulsed. Luka never will speak to any news organization and is extremely private. David D'Amato impersonated Luka online, and Luka never had any alias internet accounts. Don't believe a single word the idiots in the press say about Magnotta. It's all fake news. Just like Donald Trump, Luka's grandfather on his paternal side is named Fred. His dad is Donald, and Luka's real name is Eric. Big coincidence. Donald Trump and Luka have very similar upbringings. Netflix did a horrible job reporting on Luka Magnotta. They left out huge parts of his life, including all the years as an international male escort. Luka lived in Los Angeles, Miami, Hollywood, New York, Toronto, Montreal, Chicago, Paris, London, Berlin, Moscow, Rome, Italy, and was working in over 38 different countries. Crazed animal activists invented stories, then sent the scripts to news outlets in order to frame Luka. Magnotta never was an animal abuser. Zero evidence exists. He never interacted in any way with any of these online freaks. Luka never entered their Facebook groups. It was all David D'Amato. Netflix is liable for slander and defamation, in my opinion, for reporting a fictitious story about irrelevant online wannabe detectives. Luka in no way has any knowledge of who these animal activists were, and he never knew he was being stalked and obsessed over by these drooling fools. Luka was never questioned, charged, or arrested, let alone convicted for any animal cruelty. It's all fake news. Luka never would participate or even watch such a lame fake news film. I really hope a reputable film company will one day tell his real story. Luka denies all unsolved homicides connected with Long Island, Miami, Los Angeles, London, England, and other cities, especially Alexander Sully in England, Omar Lapara in Miami, and Harvey Medlin in the Hollywood sign killing. Luka believes in letting people show their true colors. When people show you who they are, believe them. Luka was always successful. Way more successful than any of his relatives. He is by far the most handsome and best looking. And these days he has a lot of very loyal and good people. Everyone that is on Luka's side is taking care of him and loyal to him. When I see his demented relatives on TV and print and movies pretending to care for him, it's absurd. They should be ashamed. Also, Luka never, ever, ever had any relationship with any of these idiotic, irrelevant, pathetic transsexuals who spin wild tales. These fame whores never even dated Luka. All they did was pose for fan photos. Don't believe these liars. They are all for sale and have zero credibility. Luka was engaged to his fiancée, Ron Mikhailov, who was in the Russian mafia. That is true. Ron would never speak to the press about Luka because he is too classy. Also, the CBC is probably the worst media outlet ever, in my opinion. Luka's lawyers fed them all propaganda and was employed by them. Predatory reporting. The Toronto Sun is probably the next because they are sensationalist scumbags, in my opinion. Also, furthermore, a journalist in England named Alex West, who works for the UK Sun, is a pathological liar. Luka never wrote him any threatening email. Ever. Nobody can even prove that. Scotland Yard determined the email originated from the Netherlands. Alex West stalked Luka, showed up at his hotel, and sensationalized a now non-existent story. The reality is, I believe, Alex West was in love with Luka. And maybe he was Luka's client. Luka was repulsed by Alex West and rejected him. Also, Manny Lopez, we know, framed Magnotta. David D'Amato was impersonating Luka, so Luka was surrounded by abusers, just like Marilyn Monroe was. It's horrible. Luka had escort clients in the very top of the American and Canadian government. So who knows what information Luka had on these people? The point is, all Luka's relatives are wastes of oxygen. Luka is so much better now that these individuals are out of his life. I've done extensive research on all these people, and I hope one day to meet and interview Luka. Dr. Phil would be helpful in this situation, or even a miniseries on HBO. So much unanswered, and so many questions exist. I hope this podcast explained the truth about Magnotta's early life. I hope the real culprits will be brought to justice, and the Attorney General will release Luka. In closing, if anyone has horrible, negative people in their lives, distance yourself as fast as possible, just like Luka did. Life is too short.